Located at the northeastern corner of Arkansas, Blytheville, a once booming farming and industry town, seeks to revitalize its economic status. At the head of this growth is Farmers Bank and Trust, a 100-year-old community bank that services the town of 18,000 citizens and specializes in small business lending. In order to further analyze the small business lending efforts of Farmers Bank and Trust, we interviewed their president and chief operating officer, Randy Scott.
Seen an increase 2008, 9, 10, businesses just come to a halt. There was nothing going on. Our deposits just kept building up, our cash reserves built up. We had some really good small business customers that would like to expand, but they were scared to do anything. And so they would come in and talk about things, but they were just scared of the economy, didn't know what was going to go on. So it just halted. And then about 2012 started picking up, 13 picked up. Last year, 2015, our loan to deposit ratio was here in Arkansas was probably 110%. Our cash reserves went away. We were in the borrowing mode, and a lot of those businesses have expanded.
We sought out Vice President and Small Business Lender Justin Bell for his input on small business lending.
So the more small business loans we're able to put on the books, the more profitable we are. So having a healthy portfolio of small business loans hits the bottom line big time.
A lot of the growth that happened in 11, 12, 13 was from our existing customers that we had a track record with that had performance in the past. We look a lot of that. A good business plan could still be affected by the economy, and just like that, the economy could affect that person and eat up their capital in no time. So,
forming in 1988, Nucor-Yamato Steel has quickly grown to be the largest steel mill in the Western Hemisphere. To support this corporation, Farmers Bank and Trust has worked with supporting businesses to not only create new jobs, but stimulate Blytheville's economic growth.
They came here in 1988, Nucor did, and now I believe we're the third largest steel producing county in the nation. Not just Nucor, but all these other companies out there. And now Big River Steel's going in Osceola, which is 20 miles from here. We will be the largest steel producing county in the nation. Once that happens, those little companies that provide things to Nucor, the guy that unloads the barges, the guy that takes the dust and makes gravel roads out of it, the fabricating, the cutting businesses. It's amazing how many little companies there are there that they say they feed off the crumbs of the Nucors, but that's our bread and butter. And those are the people that stay here and live here and spend their tax dollars here, and that's the ones that we kind of cater to.
Satellite companies that support that industry are local people who are starting businesses and employing, they're creating jobs in the area, and so we have seen, we've gotten to do a lot of those loans, and so we've seen some demand increase here. Everybody who has one of those supporting companies lives in this town, has their bank account here, get their personal, or their business loans here, and they're very important to the bank.
As a community bank, it is crucial to be involved in the community to increase small business lending efforts. Here we discuss how Farmers Bank and Trust values their investment in the Blytheville community.
Yes, we're very community involved and oriented. Every officer of the bank is involved required to be involved in civic organization and chamber of commerce and nonprofit organizations, and they have to be very involved in it.
So everything that you go to in this town, there's an officer of this bank at that, and that goes a long way.
And us being a community bank located here, headquartered here, all the decisions are made here.
Being out there and being involved, and then having the history to fall back on, they're like, we know that you're going to be here for us in the long run too.
Next, we interviewed Greg and Beverly Rogers, owners of Days Clothing, to discuss Farmers Bank and Trust efforts on their small business. Days Clothing has been a part of Blytheville's rich history since the 1960s, but was just recently acquired by the Rogers family. The Rogers family sought help from Farmers Bank and Trust to assist them in their new venture.
The inception of Days Menswear, I believe, as far as we could trace it back, it's 1969. I think it was a little bit earlier than that. We are the third owners. Farmers Bank naturally gave us a hometown field experience. They worked with us from day number one. I guess we started looking in 2014, about October, November range, something like that. And they answered any questions, any kind of concerns that we had. Randy and Farmers Bank have actually done all the legwork on a grant. We actually got a grant sometime last year. And I mean, he absolutely 100% did all the legwork.
Farmers Bank sent us to ASU. They connected us with the economic development program over there. And the first step was small business training. You know, farmers needed to know that we were prepared to take on a small business, and so we started the small business training over there. And since that time, they have helped us. They've connected us with a couple of programs. As Greg mentioned, the media and communications program over there. This semester, they're helping us with our advertising. All that came together, starting with Farmers Bank, sending us to. We didn't even know that existed, that any of these things were available to us.
And I really don't know how to explain this, but it's more of a personal touch than it is anything else, you know. And it's an absolute luxury knowing that we could go across the street and sit at the desk of the CEO of that bank.
Yeah.
And have a normal conversation.
I can't think of another bank where I would be comfortable picking up the phone and calling the president of the bank, you know.
As we concluded our day, Randy Scott took us around Blytheville to show us some of their ongoing small business developments.
After spending our day in Blytheville, we concluded that Farmers Bank and Trust excels in small business lending through business development as well as community involvement.
With efficient management and passion for the Blytheville community, it is easy to see why Farmers Bank and Trust succeeds.